Welcome back to Hannity. So the president is continuing his assault on your Second Amendment rights. Earlier tonight at a town hall event on gun control, the president had this to say. Take a look.
And by the way, there's a reason why the NRA is not here. They're just down the street. And since this is the main reason they exist, you'd think that they'd be prepared to have a debate with the president.
They haven't been to the White House in 3 years.
We've invited them. We've invited them.
So right now, tonight, you're saying you would be welcome to meet with them?
We have invited them repeatedly. But if you listen to the rhetoric, it is so over the top and so overheated, and most importantly, is not acknowledging the fact that there's no other consumer item that we purchase.
So is that an open invitation?
Hold on a second. Let me finish this point, Cooper. There's nothing else in our lives that we purchase where we don't try to make it a little safer if we can.
Now, despite the president's political grandstanding, an Associated Press fact check on his proposals show that they will do little to nothing to prevent the real problem, and that's keeping guns out of the hands of criminals. Here with reaction, the host of Dana on the Blaze, Dana Lash, and Fox News political analyst Juan Williams. The AP said none of what he is proposing would have stopped any of these examples, any of these recent attacks.
What did he say? He said, let's stop arguing about the past and let's do something to prevent such incidents in the future. Let's make guns less accessible to bad people.
But here's the point. None of his proposals, as the AP pointed out, would have prevented any of the mass shootings that have prompted this discussion.
If that's all you're concerned about, fine. But I'm concerned about you and me walking out tonight, and we don't want some idiot
I have an answer.
with a gun. More guns.
No.
More guns.
How about this?
If you don't want
get rid of gun-free zones, for example, I would put in school retired policemen and retired servicemen and women to protect children in case something happens. How's that? You agree?
I don't mind. Look, I just don't want us to become gun saturated, which is, I think, your solution. And let me just say, you described the president as grandstanding. Do you know that overwhelmingly Republicans and gun owners support universal background checks, and the president's not even going that far.
We already have them. All right, let me go to Dana. Dana, the biggest salesperson for guns in this country is Barack Obama. Since he's been president, get this, Smith & Wesson, the #1 gun seller in the country, their shares have gone up a whopping 952%. Ruger, up 911%. Apple, only 773%. I think you can thank Obama for that and the threat that people feel.
You absolutely can. Sean, do you remember when he and Josh Earnest were telling everyone, all right, now Thanksgiving, you go home, you talk to your family members about gun control, and then what, the Friday right after, everybody went out and bought firearms. 2015 is being called the year of the gun. He is the best firearm salesman ever. And the AP, I can't even believe I'm saying this, the AP is actually correct. There's nothing that he would have proposed that would have made it better. But you know what, Sean? He always talks about how he wants to help the people who have been affected by gun violence, but all this president has done is enable the repeat offenders and the gangbangers and everyone else, those people who drive the gun homicide rate.
You know what, you two are so far gone on this issue. I can't get it. You know, the president has done zero. He has not denied anybody the opportunity to go buy a gun in this country.
Making it harder.
No. And we live in a period where 100,000 people in the last 10 years killed by guns, millions assaulted, hundreds of thousands of suicides, half a million injured, and you guys say, oh, don't do anything. Leave it alone.
No, Juan, that's not what anyone is saying at all.
President Crybaby. Let's go back. I thought these were crocodile tears. The president out there crying. Do you realize the day that James Foley was beheaded? Do you remember that day?
Yes.
And he went out there and he gave a 30, 40-second, comment, and then he raced off. He didn't want to be late for his tea time.
Right.
You know, I'm sorry, I'm not buying it.
So you want to weigh injustice and tragedy, but let me just tell you something.
Yeah.
When you see little children slaughtered, maybe it touches your heart,
Hey,
Sean.
Juan, it touches my heart so much that I think every school district in the country needs retired policemen and military professionals.
What about the defensive gun uses? Do you realize that the CDC and the National Research Institute came out with a study showing that by large defensive gun use outweighs criminal use? You're looking at anywhere from 500,000 to 3.3 million instances of defensive gun use a year. Why do we not have a press conference where the president is surrounded by the people who successfully defended themselves adults using a firearm.
Hey,
My
Dana,
life was protected by
I'll
one. The
tell you
people
why
at
we can't,
Clackamas
Dana.
Mall, Juan,
I'll
their
tell you
lives were
why, Dana,
protected
because your side of this argument, the NRA and their acolytes, all say we don't want gun research done by any reputable group that could
by a
be
government
objective.
agency controlled by the president that can manipulate
there
it to
you
be
go.
whatever he
So you
wants.
don't wanna know
We
what's
have
really
independent
going on,
firearm
Dana,
research.
because it
We
might
also
not
have
support your
uniform
point
crime
of view.
reports from the
Let
FBI.
me
You
step
just
in
don't
here a
like the
sec.
truth, Juan. That's
Let
it.
me ask Juan this question. Juan, you know, this is what, the second or third time that he's mentioned Chicago? And I'm thinking, we've had weekend after weekend after
Right.
weekend.
That's
His home
true.
city, 40, 50 people involved in
That's
shootings.
terrible.
Where has he been? Why has he been so late to this? Why then should we believe he's sincere when all these years have gone by? 2009 and 10, they had control of the House and Senate. They didn't do a thing on guns.
Well,
Why?
That's
Why?
a fair point. The Democrats had the Senate and were unable to get anything done. But why?
Had the House, too.
Because of the power of the NRA to punish politicians.
They had all the
That's
power.
not
Wait a minute, they had all the power.
Let me just say, where's all the Republicans? How is it that all the Republicans so fearful of the NRA that they won't
Because
speak
I actually
up for
believe-
this murder,
I
this
actually believe-
massacre that's
Harry
a
Reid's not a
common part of
Republican. He
American
took-
life every
He took the
day.
assault weapons ban portion out of the gun bill. He took Dianne Feinstein's addendum out of a bill. Harry Reid's not a Republican. He's a Democrat.
Good point. Your response?
Oh, this feeds exactly what I was saying, Dana. The NRA
He's a
has been able
Democrat.
to shut down
Oh, they have
Democrats
not.
in conservative states because they are afraid of the NRA's economic
so
The
they're
power
NRA
at
is
any
made up
rate.
of members,
It's
of
just
people
sad.
who pay
To
dues.
me, this
That's
is,
it.
you know, when Republicans
They're afraid of
complain
gangbangers
about
empowered
NRA
by
members, you want to
Democrats.
set
Wait a minute.
Congress.
You want to know why I'm a
This is
proud-
why. Special interest
You want to
big
know why
money
I'm a proud
carries the
NRA
day.
member? I'm a proud NRA member because there's no group in America that teaches gun safety more than the NRA.
Yeah, that's
There you
what.
go.
That's years ago.
No,
now
that's
they're an
now.
extremist group that
Hey,
wants
Juan,
to have
let me ask
everybody
you
to have a
this.
gun, and
When
to
is the
Dana's
last
point,
time-
doesn't want
Juan,
research.
when is the last time
Dana.
you donated to Project Child Safe, Juan? If you're so concerned about gun safety, how much
All
have you
right.
donated to Project Child
More
Safe?
than gun safety,
They provide
I'm
gun
concerned
locks
about
through
too much easy
law
access,
department
Dana.
offices throughout the country.
I don't
Have
want
you
every
supported
kid to
Project
have a gun.
Child Safe?
I've
No,
had a
you
gun
haven't,
since
okay.
I'm 11 years old.
11 years old.
I've carried a gun
Yeah.
all my adult life. All my adult life.
Wait a minute, you were
Education is the
11 years
antidote to
old?
When I
ignorance.
first- my parents taught me how to shoot. That's right. They brought me to a professional and I learned how to shoot.
Where did you
11.
grow up, in the woods?
I grew up in Long Island, New York. No woods.
What is going
on
on
a
with
50
this guy? No, someone should have arrested you. That's what
If you're in a room, here's my last question.
Oh.
If you're in a room and God forbid a shooting occurs and I carry a
Right.
gun, do you want me in that room with you to protect you?
Yes. What
Oh,
are
there
you
go.
talking
There
about?
you
More
go.
guns, more
Oh,
safety.
No,
That's right.
that's not,
Oh
that
yeah.
wasn't the
Checkmate.
logical conclusion.
Checkmate. Coming up next tonight here on Hannity.